I am Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that are happening right here in this community, and of course today would be no different. Occasionally I have the opportunity to meet people across the spectrum of this great city who are doing important work as it relates to improving the quality of life for others. And the reality is that we don't always know what these resources are, but this platform, Impact with Kenny Anderson, gives you an opportunity to learn about those things, and it helps me learn a lot about this great community that we're a part of. Let me introduce to you today Carla Buggs. She is a peer support and recovery specialist with an organization called Aletheia House, and we're going to learn all about that organization today and the great work that they're doing. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for welcoming me here today.
It's good to have you here today. Okay. And it's good to have this opportunity to learn about this organization that I'm actually beginning to learn something about and recognize the very important work that you're doing, especially in times like these. So tell us a little bit about what Aletheia House is.
Well, Aletheia House is a community-based organization. We are nonprofit, and it was formed in 1972 when some volunteers in the city of Birmingham just really got tired of seeing young people living on the streets, living with substance use disorders, and no one seemed to be doing anything about it. So they got together and they formed this organization. Not only do we service substance use disorders and transitional housing, but we also service preventive services like HIV and AIDS.
Yeah, well, those two kind of go hand in hand. If you have young people living on the street, engaged in drug activity, and sometimes they're also sexually active, which means that they're going to perhaps be at risk of HIV. So it sounds like it all goes hand in hand.
It does.
And a great thing to do. I'm also inspired by the idea that this is something I'm always saying to people, that you don't need a formal organization to make a difference. You just need people with big hearts and a willingness to turn the community around. And that sounds exactly like this is how Aletheia House started.
It is.
Yeah. And that's a great thing, I think, as we think about just the work that we do and the way that we move forward in the process. So talk about the connection between Birmingham, which is where Aletheia House started, and now Huntsville.
Well, what happened was the CEO of Aletheia House and the executive director began to survey the state, and we came to find out that Huntsville was lacking in services for women with children and pregnant women. So they decided to open up an outpatient program for women up here. And what the program does is provides therapy and counseling for the women and their children, child care and child development for the children, transportation for the women, and case management as far as housing. And what they do is it's free of charge. It's funded. If you have Medicaid, they'll take Medicaid, but if not, it's free of charge. And that was a unique thing about Aletheia House in this area. It was free. It's free.
So especially more so that we need to know about it so that people can hear about services that you provide, because we certainly have those challenges in this community as we do in any other community. And the demographic that you're focused on, that your target audience, women, pregnant women, is absolutely an area I believe there perhaps was a gap in. That you're able to now come in and work alongside some of the other great programs that are a part of our community as well. So that's got to be a great thing. Aletheia House is on the scene. Where are you located?
We're located at 1525 Sparkman Drive, right next to Executive Lodge Apartments, and it's a great location.
Yeah.
There's a bus line right there.
Yeah. So you can catch a lot of people that might benefit from your services.
We do.
And of course, this is one way that people learn about your services, but I'm sure, let me ask, I won't say I'm sure, there's an educational piece to what you do. Do you go around the community sharing the good word about your services and the fact that you're available to be able to provide these for people?
We do. Not only am I the peer recovery specialist, I'm the outreach worker. So I go throughout the city of Huntsville and the surrounding areas, and I have little talks with different companies and different parts of the city, and let people know that we are in the community and we would like to help. I even go to places like homeless shelters. I go into the court systems. I go to DHR just all over the city, just doctor's offices, women's doctor's offices, just trying to find women who fit the criteria for our program. Yeah.
Wherever your population might be. Does any of your services provide or connect with job location services, or do you help women find jobs?
We help them get ready for jobs.
Okay, job readiness.
Job readiness, yes.
Okay, and that includes traditional kinds of things like teaching them resume writing,
Resume writing, dress for success, interviewing. We also have a clothes closet that we prepare the women if they have an interview and don't have anything to wear. We have volunteers from local churches or out-of-town churches or different places that donate clothing items for the women.
So there's a volunteer option as it relates to Aletheia House as well. People that are listening this afternoon who may want to get involved because maybe they have a passion
Yes.
for young women and perhaps young pregnant women. They can
Yes.
certainly reach out to you for that information. You seem to be perfectly suited for this role because you, of course, have your own personal backstory
Yes.
that connects with some of the demographic that you are actually working with now. Tell us a little something about that.
Well, Kenny, I am a person in long-term recovery. And what that means is today, I'm a good mother, I'm a good sister and friend, and I've learned how to deal with life on life's terms without the use of drugs and alcohol for the past 25 years. So.
And your journey was not just you used drugs and alcohol. I mean, your journey took you somewhere. And I want you to break this down for us.
My
because
journey.
I know you don't mind talking about your story.
No, I really don't. My journey took me a lot of places that are not popular. Back in 1992, at that time, I had been using drugs for about 11 years. And because of that, and as a result of that, I ended up going to prison, to Tutwiler Prison for Women. I was sentenced to 45 years in prison.
As a user or seller or distributor?
As a user, seller, distributor. At the end, it became more so to selling to use, you know. And so while I was in Julia Tutwiler Prison, I received a federal indictment for conspiracy with intent to distribute crack cocaine. And so I ended up with 324 months in federal prison, which is 27 years. So after the crack cocaine laws were changed and everything, I ended up doing a total of 20 years in prison.
Wow.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you?
That experience was very humbling. That experience was not only humbling, but it was very educational. I got a chance to meet women from all over the world, not just all over the country, but all over the world. And I got a chance to find out what my purpose was in life.
Which you've discovered is what?
My purpose in life is to empower people who've gone through the different things that I've gone through. Not only was I addicted to crack cocaine, not only was I in prison, I'm a veteran and I've been homeless. So that's 4 different arenas that I can, talk to people about. And so I use that to empower people and let them know that even though you are in the situation that you are in right now, you can change. Your life can become totally different. If you would just submit and if you would just humble yourself. And so that prison experience for me, people say, oh, they did you wrong, they kept you for so long. No, they did exactly what God had ordered for my life. And by me embracing it, it helped change my life.
Did you have children when you went to jail?
I did. As a matter of fact, my youngest child was 1 month old when I left, and he's now 25 years old.
Yeah, so what was it like to be separated from them?
Oh, it was, that was the hardest part of doing the time, was not being able to raise my children. Someone else, family members raised my children. And so that was the hardest part. However, during my incarceration, I began to talk to God about that. A mother's guilt, began to kick in. You're not there. They're not going to know you. And God began to speak to me, and He told me that I'm going to allow you to be their spiritual mother when you get out. And that right there kept me and gave me hope enough to know that they would respect me and they would love me. And today, the restoration with my children is just phenomenal, and I'm being just that, a spiritual parent.
Well, that's got to be an awesome experience
It
for
is.
sure. I can see the joy in your face.
Yes.
And I know you're feeling it full in your heart as well. We're talking about you being a part of this initiative here in Huntsville, Aletheia House, leading the way to be able to guide young girls and pregnant women along some of the same pathway that you may have trod over your lifetime as well. And in a few minutes that we have remaining, I want you to speak to people out there, parents perhaps, that may have young girls or daughters who are either on the street or away from the home and detached from the family somehow, or maybe they are dealing with some kind of crisis. And you know that there's a service out there, Aletheia House, that can provide something for them. Speak to those parents, and also speak to those young girls out there, those women who are pregnant out there, young women that are pregnant, and tell them why they need to take a look at your program.
First, let me say to the family members of the women out there who are lost on drugs and alcohol, and I just want to ask them not to give up on these girls and these women, because something happened in their life. I don't know of anybody who woke up one day and just said, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a drug addict. I don't know of anybody who did that. Something happened along the way. And I want to ask that the family members and friends of these women to not ignore the signs that you may see, the warning signs, the disconnect, the isolation, the depression. Something happened along the way. And I want the ladies who are dealing with this situation to know that it's not over. This is not the end. As a matter of fact, when you get to the lowest of the lowest, there's no way but up. And so with that being said, if you fall, in the words of Les Brown, if you fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And I just want to let the ladies out there know that it's not over. Embrace where you are right now, even if it's ugly. Embrace where you are right now, because one day you may be able to go back and do what I'm doing. See, I didn't forget not one segment of my life. I don't want to ignore it. I don't want to forget it, because I want to empower somebody else and let somebody else know that you can have a beautiful life.
Yeah, that's a powerful way to wrap up our story today. Wanted people to definitely connect with your inspiration, because I know that you are an inspiration to many people now, and you've been given this gift, this second chance of sorts, to be able to move your life forward, to be able to touch other people's lives, and that's a very meaningful thing. Aletheia House is open for service right here in our community.
Yes.
How can people reach out to you and get more information about your services?
Aletheia House is located once again at 1525 Sparkman Drive. We're open from 8 o'clock in the morning up until about 8 o'clock at night. We have night services as well as day services. You can also reach Aletheia House by dialing 205-533-7943. That's 205-533-7943.
All right.
And anytime.
All right. Reach out and touch Carla.
Yes.
She'll be able to help you out and guide you.
Yes.
Carla Buggs, peer support or peer support, yes, rather than recovery specialist for Aletheia House. Thank you for being here with us today and sharing your own personal testimony as well as sharing information about this valuable service.
Thank you.
All right. I want to thank you for being a part of our conversation today. And as always, we thank you for tuning in. We don't take that for granted. We also want to make sure that we're providing information for you that's beneficial to you. And we thank you who occasionally tell me that you're watching the show, that you have learned from the show, you've been inspired by the show, because that's exactly why Impact exists, so that we can tell you about all those great touch points that are occurring right here in the Huntsville-Madison County community. We hope that you enjoyed, I should say, I hope that you enjoyed the show that you watched today. You can see a replay of this show on our Facebook page, which is Impact with Kenny Anderson, where you can also see some behind-the-scenes shots of what happens once the camera stops rolling. For Impact, I'm Kenny Anderson. Have a great day.